OpenAI is going through one of the most unpredictable phases in its history. On one side, the company is rolling out new features at a speed we have never seen before. On the other side, it is dealing with lawsuits, major expenses, and public mistakes that instantly turned into headlines. It is a strange mix of rapid progress and constant pressure, and that combination describes exactly where OpenAI stands today. Even with all of this happening at the same time, the company is not slowing down. In fact, some of its newest updates might completely change how people work and how they handle personal health through AI. Let us start with one of the most interesting changes. OpenAI is preparing a new tool called ChatGPT Group Chats. This feature sounds simple at first, but it carries a huge amount of potential. Instead of everyone creating separate conversations with ChatGPT, people will now be able to join the same shared chat room and work together with the AI in real time. A full team can brainstorm inside the same feed, comment on ideas, and ask ChatGPT for help without switching windows or copying text from one person to another. It turns ChatGPT into a collaborative space rather than a private assistant. This is not the first time a feature like this has shown up. Microsoft Copilot already allows shared sessions, but OpenAI is preparing something more powerful. Their version will let users set a unique system prompt for that specific group, meaning the entire chat room can have a custom personality and rules. Users will also control when ChatGPT should respond. It can reply automatically or only when someone tags it directly. The company even added a presence setting so teams can choose how active the AI should be. It can behave like a quiet assistant or take on a more involved role during discussions. This design is clearly made for structured teamwork. It is built to reduce confusion, remove random side conversations, and allow smoother workflows for research groups, school projects, and company meetings. Analysts believe it could become one of the most important business features OpenAI has ever launched. And based on OpenAI's pattern of releasing major updates in December, many people expect group chats to appear before the end of the year. While OpenAI is improving the software side, the company is also preparing a major jump into a completely new industry. According to multiple reports, OpenAI is building a consumer-focused health assistant along with a health data tool. It could read medical information, organize personal health records, and give people early guidance before visiting a doctor. This would be OpenAI's boldest attempt to step beyond general conversation and push into a field that many tech companies have failed to enter. The shift started when OpenAI hired Nate Gross, the co-founder of Docimity, as head of healthcare strategy. Shortly after, the company hired Ashley Alexander, a former Instagram leader, as vice president of health products. At the HLTH conference, OpenAI shared a surprising detail. ChatGPT currently receives around 800 million weekly active users, and a massive portion use it for health-related questions. People already trust it enough to ask about symptoms, medicines, and diagnoses. So OpenAI believes it is the right moment to launch a dedicated health-focused product. Big tech companies have tried this before and did not succeed. Google shut down Google Health in 2011. Amazon ended the Halo program in 2023. Microsoft's Health Vault never grew beyond a small user base. But analysts believe OpenAI has a real chance because people are already talking to ChatGPT about medical issues every day. Instead of searching on Google, users now turn to AI for direct answers. If OpenAI can build a safe and accurate health tool, it might actually succeed where others fail. Still, OpenAI's rise has not been easy. A large legal challenge appeared in Germany where a Munich court ruled that OpenAI violated copyright law by training on song lyrics without licenses. The case was led by GEMA, a major German music rights group. They claimed OpenAI's models memorized and reproduced lyrics from 9 different songs. The court agreed and said both the internal learning process and the external answers produced by ChatGPT count as copyright infringement. This means the artists are owed compensation. OpenAI protested and said that models do not store text directly. They only learn patterns. But the judges did not accept that explanation. They argued that text appears inside the system during training and can appear again during user prompts. So the creators deserve to be paid. GEMA celebrated the decision as a major victory and said it is a huge moment for European copyright law. OpenAI said they disagree with the ruling and will consider their options, but they also said the decision affects only a small set of lyrics and does not impact normal users. Still, it sends a strong signal that Europe is ready to take action against AI training data practices. As the court case gained attention, another problem appeared. OpenAI's chief financial officer spokesperson, Sarah Fryer, caused a public backlash when she suggested that the United States government should support OpenAI's giant infrastructure spending. She mentioned that OpenAI plans to invest more than $1 trillion in data centers and AI chips, and she hinted that the government could help backstop those investments. Critics immediately compared it to asking taxpayers to guarantee the company's loans, similar to a parent co-signing a child's rental agreement. Except in this case, the parents are American taxpayers, and the cost is more than $1 trillion. The reaction was intense. People were angry that a private company valued near $500 billion would expect public support for its debt. Fryer later clarified that she did not mean government loan guarantees, but wanted cooperation between the government and private companies to strengthen AI infrastructure. However, the public damage was already done. Many questioned how OpenAI could afford such large investments when the company is not profitable and recently reported massive losses. By the end of the week, Sam Altman himself stepped in. He stated clearly that OpenAI is not asking for government guarantees and does not want public money to cover company losses. He said OpenAI expects to make around $20 billion in revenue this year and plans to reach hundreds of billions by 2030 through enterprise tools and consumer devices. He added that if the company fails, it should fail naturally because that is how capitalism works. No bailouts, no public rescue, no exceptions. Even the White House responded. President Trump's AI advisor David Sachs said that no federal bailout will be provided to any AI company. That ended the discussion quickly. Still, the entire episode became one of OpenAI's biggest public relations challenges in recent months. But even with these setbacks, OpenAI's scale is growing at a record pace. The company recently announced that it now has over 1 million business customers, making it the fastest growing enterprise platform ever. This number includes every company that pays for ChatGPT for work or uses the API through the developer platform. Some of their clients include Booking, Cisco, T-Mobile, Target, Morgan Stanley, and Thermo Fisher. ChatGPT for Work has more than 7 million seats, which is a 40% increase in only 2 months. ChatGPT Enterprise licenses also grew nearly 10 times larger compared to last year. Businesses are adopting ChatGPT quickly because employees already use it in their private lives. So when companies bring it into the workplace, staff members instantly understand how to use it. The return on investment appears fast, and managers report immediate productivity improvements. OpenAI has also added new tools for companies. One major upgrade is Company Knowledge. It allows ChatGPT to access documents and data across Google Drive, Slack, SharePoint, and GitHub. It uses a version of GPT-5 that is optimized for calling tools and providing citations. The Codex coding model has also become extremely popular. Cisco reported that their code review time dropped significantly after using it. The new Agent Kit system allows companies to build and deploy custom AI agents in days instead of months. OpenAI is also moving further into multimodal AI. Tools like the Sora 2 Image API, the Real-Time API, and GPT Real-Time can handle video, audio, and images with ease. Intercom used these features to build their customer support agent called Finn, reducing development cycles from several months to a few days. Databricks also integrated OpenAI into enterprise data pipelines, allowing companies to build agents right inside their data warehouses. Consumer brands like Etsy, PayPal, Walmart, and Shopify are also using ChatGPT through the new Agentic Commerce Protocol, which brings shopping into conversational AI experiences. However, all this growth is extremely expensive. One of the biggest financial problems comes from Sora, the AI video generator. Reports say that Sora could be costing around $5 billion per year in compute costs. That is around $15 million every day. To put that in perspective, generating one 10-second video might cost more than $1 in GPU time. Even some of the developers behind Sora admitted that these costs are not sustainable. The tool is still in limited release, yet it is already creating billions in expenses. Sam Altman said they launched Sora without a clear plan to recover the cost, but wanted to push innovation first. Because of this, OpenAI now limits users to 30 free videos per day and charges for extra generations. Even so, engineers say the limits will likely be reduced again soon because they do not have enough GPUs to support demand. On top of the cost issues, OpenAI is facing new copyright complaints from several major Japanese studios, including Studio Ghibli, Bandai Namco, and Square Enix. They claim OpenAI used copyrighted material to train Sora. So OpenAI's challenges are now financial and legal at the same time. While OpenAI is spending billions, its main competitor Anthropic is choosing a more cautious approach. According to the Wall Street Journal, Anthropic expects to break even by 2028, while OpenAI is not expected to be profitable until 2030. Anthropic's projected revenue by 2028 is $70 billion, while OpenAI may lose more than $70 billion in the same period. Their business-first strategy is paying off. Many enterprise clients view Claude as a more stable and cost-efficient model. Anthropic is growing steadily without dramatic launches, and investors are noticing. So the big question is simple. Is OpenAI moving too fast, or is this aggressive expansion exactly what it needs to stay ahead of the competition? With group chats and a secret health tool on the way, the company is stepping into entirely new territory. These updates could change how people work, how they communicate, and even how they take care of their health. Tell me what you think. Are these moves too risky, or are they the future? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.